Good evening. It's a lovely Tuesday, and I'm here with my brother and my panelist, Mr. Miguda, who we usually just share our thoughts on the current trending or current news and everything. And I'm also joined by my good friends, Mr. Gibson Connor is there on the comment section. Welcome everyone, and let's discuss. Miguda Barigani.
Niko salama ndugu yangu Benson, uko aje huko?
Mimi niko salama, we ndio labda utuambie, utupashe habari kama uko na habari mpya ambao si tujajua.
Habari mpya bado hajapatikana, baridi tu ndio imezidi, baridi inazidi
Baridi inazidi kuchapa.
kuchapa sana sana.
Okay, hiyo ni mzuri. Mi pia nimesema leo tukuje tupige gunzo kidogo kwa yale iko katika uwanja wa siasa. Jambo la kwanza ambao ni something that is kusikitisha ni kwamba leo hii kulikutokea ajali kule Kericho ambao around 9 people died on the spot. It was a PSV and a trailer, so 9 people on the spot. So that is also something that is there. Again, today we saw a group of activists actually went to demand for the release of the people that were abducted. And yesterday we had a conversation of the same, and it is happening. The businessman also, Jimmy Wanjigi, also had a presser concerning the same. So it is something that is there. So I think that then the president should take action and talk to the people, and because like it is happening, he said he is not aware. So I think it is high time that he should know now that there are people who are still missing from their family members. That is what we have. Miguda, if you have something, then you can also tell us.
For those people who have lost their lives in the tragic road accident along Kericho Road, we are sympathizing with the family, and it's very bad news this evening, so that we should also check on our road maintenance. You know, there have been a lot of accidents along that road, so we should find out why is that most of time people do die while traveling on that route. That route has been a blood spot. So we just sympathize with the people who have lost their lives, and
Yes.
may their soul rest in peace.
Okay, thank you so much. And today we want to look at the murky the murky waters of politics currently that we have. We have the merger of UDA and ODM. And our question is, will it stand the test of time? Because we've seen how the major coalitions usually fade off as time goes. You remember we had COD, what happened to COD? We had Jubilee and URP. But now we have this one because, like, one thing that we have to agree, and we should not even blink an eye to say no. What is there is there's agreement, there's a silent merger between the ODM and UDA. But in it, there's murky waters because we have the Gashagwa also is here. We have the Azimio side that are complaining. We have people like Babu Wino who are not buying into who are very skeptical on the broad-based government. So will it stand the test of time? And yesterday, my brother, you really gave me an information, and I was doubting you about the prime minister and his brother. Now they are brothers. They were in China, and I was telling we have to confirm. Yeah, I did. But thank you for the info. So, can you just weigh that again? The Mokis.
The merger between ODM and UDA, it
Yeah.
depends on what brought them together. We should find out why did they form that alliance, because these were opponents. They were bitter enemies
Mm-hmm.
2022. They could not see each person's eyes. So why all of a sudden after 2 years they decided to form an agreement and they are working? They say that it is not formal, but according to me they are working formally, because how can you issue a lucrative CS position to ODM? The people who are your opponents, like for instance, after election between currently Trump and Kamala Harris, the winner will hire some of the Democrats or Republicans uh, people to participate in the decision making of the country. So I think we should ask ourselves, why did they come together? Was is it a matter of, is there any trust? The conception of working together. We should look at why did they come together. If it was just like the conception of like handshake came as a result that they wanted to put the country into peace so that they can run the country. And
Yeah.
after that, the country they ran the country. There was peace. Then they part ways. You see, so it's always
Yeah.
about interest. So Ruto ODM merging with UDA, there are a lot are happening. The way you are saying, because you have seen the Gashagwa are pulling, even in ODM, people like Babowino are pulling. They are not joining government. Some people from Gashagwa team are also not buying the idea of merging ODM and UDA. So, if at all it was based on trust issues and it was based on a particular idea, or there was a philosophy of it, I think it
Yeah.
can last beyond 2027. But it is as a result of Gen Z protests and they wanted to calm down things so that the country can move on, they will just part ways, because after peace have emerged, people will still have interests. Rigiji will still want to be Mount Kenya kingpin. William Ruto will still want to serve his second term. If Raila lost, if Raila lose in the AUC person, he will still want to control his support base. So a lot of things are happening. And as a politician, so what you should do right now, you should move. You don't need to be stagnant in one political party. You should
Yeah.
look for friends, try to move around. There you have seen Babu Owino. He has gone to Kalonzo camp, he's in ODM, he's moving around, he's meeting team ground. Those are ambitious politicians. Don't need to be stagnant, because anything can happen from this point. But we should ask ourselves, what was the conception of merging UDA and ODM? If it was political purposes, it will serve. Because you saw yesterday, we were discussing with you here that ODM leader Raila Odinga has traveled with President William Ruto to China, and you have not verified the news, but it's good now you have verified it. So
Yeah.
previously, before the so-called broad-based government came into work, Raila used not to travel with William Ruto. Even during the US state visit, there was absence of Odinga. But
No,
yesterday's visit, there was presence
I,
of
I
Odinga.
I
So
think his absence, his presence were there, but he was not there because I can give you two scenarios whereby the presence of Raila Odinga was. Remember, there was a time when the president and Orengo traveled to China. Orengo could not travel with Ruto without approval of Baba. That is one. When Ruto came to US, the president came to US. There was Gladys Wanga was there, Opio Wandai was there. So even though he was not there physically, but his presence, which means he approved all those people to be, because remember he came out in the public and defended the PO and I.
I think he was warming up for the official presence, because initially his allies, like they have said, Orengo accompanied Ruto to China, even Opio and Gladys Wanga accompanied Ruto to United States of America. It
Mhm.
it means that he was still warming up for the right time so that he can work with Mr. Ruto freely. But I think the working together began by the time there was NADCO report, after the NADCO report, because when they met with
Yes.
Olusegun Obasanjo, Ruto and Raila agreed to work formally. So from that point, they agreed on NADCO report and they discussed, and even the IBC bill has been it was signed at KICC. So it means these people they began working, but Raila Odinga has not come out officially moving around with Mr. Ruto. So I think by the time they discuss with Olusegun Obasanjo, they have made their agreements. Now they are just executing whatever they had discussed. That I
Yeah.
also like to bring something to attention, that the Gen Z protests, they use this opportunity to execute whatever they have discussed before. Because during the Gen Z protest, you heard that when the Odinga's team were incorporated into government, there were some rumors that there was also impeachment motion coming. But today, when I was doing my analysis, there's a rumor also that if Raila goes ahead and win the AUC chairperson, immediately they will bring that impeachment motion to National Assembly. The only thing that is only that impeachment motion that Raila has not won that seat. If Raila can win that seat, they will bring that impeachment motion so that they can do away with the regime. So I think these two guys, they are working together. They have agreed to work together to ensure. According to Ruth, it's just about interest. You want to make a comeback. You want to finish his second term. So you can use anything to finish your second term.
Yeah. Okay. There are issues that you've said that I tend to agree with you. By from now, what we are looking at, or from my own thinking or my own analysis, I don't think that the AU seat and the protest that the Gen Z had, those are the the pointing factors that made the to bring in broad-based government. No, I don't think so, because how quickly was it that they could consult and decide to donate these experts if they've not been having conversation? So which means the AU seat and the protests that were organized by the Gen Z, it provided the perfect opportunity for the broad-based government to be created, but it was already in motion, but slowly it was coming. Because remember, where I feel the issue of working together started is about when you said about the NADCO report. Because during the NADCO report, there are those demands that were both sides were demanding. Yeah. Among other things were opening of the servers. And remember, even during those times, there was a whistleblower who came and gave some numbers on how the election was stolen. Yeah. But that one's thing was for public consumption to make people relevant. Remember, even during those protests, we were still collecting signatures. There were times that people were collecting signatures so that they should kind of like take the government out of office, which you were asking, how could it be? But what thing that worries me now is how will they navigate even to the Babu Owino, or because like maybe Babu Owino is the only member of parliament who has come out very clearly to kind of like oppose, how will he navigate even the politics, that merger? Because remember, before everything, people used to have the category of the young Turks of ODM, the Jaws and the Babus. Remember the Ledamas, the Sifunas, like they are seen like these are the people who might inherit Baba's base. But as we now see, because Baba is already with Ruto, so as we speak today, I might say not to be very sure, but there's that population of Baba, the kingdom of Baba, with his people, is in the process of being inherited by President William Ruto. Yeah. So how will Babu Owino walk that path? And people like Sifuna, who actually, I don't know when did Sifuna came to the major media space like Citizen, NTV, because when he used to go there, he will wash you, ile mtu anakuosha. Na sasa unajua inakuwa ni vigumu sana yeye kukuja na aanze kupiga serikali, na hiyo serikali moja pia kuna watu wa ODM ambao wako ndani. So I think it is very tough for some of them.
I don't think it's very tough for some of them. Let me first clarify this issue of NADCO, then I'll tell you how it is very easy for Babu to make a comeback. By the time after NADCO, you had even Kimani Ichung'wah was co-chair with Kalonzo Musyoka. And we
Yeah.
have seen Kimani Ichung'wah has been consistent by the time he was calling Baba His Excellency. And today, Kimani Ichung'wah is pro-Ruto. In fact, initially, before the Gen Z protests, Ruto used to attack Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua used to claim himself as a villager. William Ruto used to say that you don't need to be a villager, you need to be a national leader. There was a time even to say that members of parliament, you don't need to be consolidate, you don't need to consolidate yourself in your constituency. You need to move across the country for the legislative purposes. And Rigiji was saying, if you are a member of parliament, stick to your constituency. So you have seen Ruto and Rigiji, they were talking at each other. They were attacking each other. Now, Ruto has ensured that he has reduced Rigiji to Ishungwa. Currently, it is Ishungwa who is attacking Rigiji, and Rigiji responding to Ishungwa. So William Ruto successfully reduced Rigiji to Ishungwa level. The way Uhuru Kenyatta reduced Raila to Ruto, and they end up becoming opponents. And Raila was very clever. Raila used never to answer. Raila used to attack Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru was not responding. It is Ruto used to respond to Raila. Currently, Ruto does not respond to Rigiji. It is Ishungwa who is attacking Rigiji. Rigiji is also responding to Ishungwa. I would advise Rigiji, he should stop responding to Ishungwa. He should focus on the leader, William Ruto. He should attack William Ruto directly the way they used before the Gen Z protest. This is why I say it is very easy for Babu Wino to make a comeback. Babu Wino, let him just stick with the people. Even if he's going to lose his seat, let him stick with the people. One day you will have a price for that. Because remember, in 2002, when Raila took all votes to vote for Mwai Kibaki,
Yeah.
Orengo opposed Raila, and Orengo lost his seat as member of parliament. But remember, in 2007, Orengo make a comeback, and
And
he realigned himself with the political dynamics of that time.
but
Similarly,
remember, just
yeah,
before you continue about Orengo coming back, but when Orengo came back, he came back after. First of all, he came back to the Raila kingdom. Yeah. So that's how he did not come back as an independent without being in the kingdom.
yeah, but when he came back, people realized that Orengo was right in 2002 when he opposed Kibaki. Because when he came back, Kibaki, they say that there was an allegation that Kibaki stole elections. So people say, hey, Raila, you gave us Mwai Kibaki in 2002. The same person you gave us is stealing your elections. So it means Orengo was right when he was opposing this Mwai Kibaki. So when Orengo came to back, it's not a matter of coming how. You can
Mhm.
come back with in Raila's kingdom. Even President Uhuru Kenyatta ran for presidency in 2002. He lost. Then he came back in 2013 and won. So Babu Owino is young and he can chart his political ways. He can decide on the path of the people. He might not win today, but
Yeah.
he can make a comeback when he can realign himself with the dynamics of politics of that time. That's why Babu Owino is not afraid of losing that seat, but he stick with the people. But remember, Babu Owino and the examples I've given you, these are different political leaders. You don't know how much Babu has invested in this politics, unlike Orengo and Uhuru Kenyatta. But Babu, unlike Orengo opposed Raila directly. Babu has never opposed Raila. Babu has maintained that Raila is the Luo kingpin and respect Raila. Babu has only problem with the leaders who don't have the stand, the leaders who are not with the people. So Babu Owino has used a different tactic. He's not opposing Raila, but he's not subscribing to the decisions of the moves of the party. So
So,
unlike Orengo, Babu Owino can make a comeback.
but if you're saying Babu is not opposing Baba, remember right now as we speak, Babu is one of the members of parliament who criticize the government, you know, the government of the day. And right now, the government of the day that we have what we call a broad-based government, where the experts from ODM, yeah, are there. And if to speak the truth, um, the the allegiance or the allegiance that the CS for Treasury has for Baba, do you think has changed?
You know, these politicians, for instance,
Mm,
the CS for Treasury,
mhm,
the allegiance he has for Baba has not
mm.
changed,
Yeah.
and it can't change.
Mm,
But even him, at some point, he was tied with ODM and he wanted to resign. But because of the interest, he remained firm in ODM. Babu Owino
mm,
has not resigned from ODM, and they are saying that I will not move. All of us will fight in this house, and the person who is stronger than the other will take over the party.
mm,
So Babu is loyal to Baba, and he has
mm.
never gone against Baba.
Yeah.
Badi is also loyal to Baba, but they are working differently. Babu is in opposition, Badi is in government. So it means Babu is fighting not within, it's outside, so it's fighting the government. But remember, even the people in Raila, even Raila sometimes do call press conference and say that the police who kill people, they should be responsible for the death of the people. So sometimes you can criticize the government within or
Mhm,
outside. So it depends on which path have you chosen. Baba was chosen to criticize the government outside government. So the only thing people are saying that he has committed political obituary.
mhm,
We have not yet reached there. What
mhm,
if people Babu might say that me personally, I'm in ODM, I'm supporting Baba, but I've not joined government. Why should I support government which I'm not in? Badi and Opi Wandai can support government because already they are CS and they have rendered their resignation letters as the leaders of that party. Whereas Babu has not rendered his resignation letter as the any leader of that party. So Babu Owino is a bit tactical. That's why I've said he doesn't need to win today, but he
mhm.
can make a comeback depending on how he will arrange himself, depending on the dynamics of the politics of that time.
There's this the quarters of there's also a population that feels that the merger of that is perceived or that is silently is not yet out, but there's a merger or there's that agreement of that merger coming in, bearing in mind like we are still gauging at what will happen at the AU. That is also plays a factor. You know, we are still marking that, and they say if you look at this merger, it will be one of the greatest as compared to the ones that we've had in the political processes of the country. And they say that this is a 2027 is won. The 2027 race is completed. That the second term for His Excellency the President is done because, like, if you see the merger of um, the Prime Minister and the current president, then when you go to Mount Kenya, you have the likes of Ndini Njoro and Kimani Chungwa. Forget about Rigathi. Forget about the deputy president. Yeah, he might be having his followers, but if they combined with Kalonzo Musyoka, that is going to be the opposition. So, and even if they combine with the Gen Z, the system is on their side. So there is, yeah, one case is already done. Do you agree with that?
I totally disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a one. It is not a one election because
Mm,
we have had these people. Let me take you back to 2007. We had Nyaga,
mm-hmm.
but the Mount Kenya never delivered to us those votes.
Mm-hmm.
2013, we have had people from Mount Kenya. Maybe 2017, 2022, we have had people like Peter Kenneth on our side. We have had people like Gitobi Manyara on our side. We have people like Mata Karu on our side. But what I know that the current merging which is going on is the Pentagon, the old Pentagon, the
Mm-hmm.
2007 Pentagon. So if Kibaki successfully managed to win against Pentagon in 2007, now
Mm-hmm.
what if Rigiji and Kalonzo Musyoka they join forces to oppose the emerging Pentagon? Me personally, from my point of view, from 2007 to date,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it is possible for any candidate to win elections minus Mount Kenya votes because
Mm-hmm.
Mount Kenya votes they are more. and
Yeah.
they are almost come 2027 they can be even to 8 million. So
Mhm.
even if you get only 6 million already, you are
Mhm.
half of the game. You only
Yeah.
need some. That's why Kibaki was, the race between Kibaki and Raila was too close, to an extent that the late QV to say that it was not easy to tell who won that elections. Why? Because the Mount Kenyan people are more and they have registered in large number. And whenever if for instance, if Ruto decided to abandon them, I don't know who Ruto will pick as a running mate. That's the question. But when Ruto is going to pick a running mate outside Mount Kenya,
Mhm.
all of them are going to rally behind one person and not William Ruto. And also, do
Uh-huh.
not be do not be confused with Luo's votes. Luo's
Mm.
votes are not many. Besides that, Luo's the turnout, if Raila the turnout was poor, what about Ruto, who is not a Luo? Can he influence the turnout? Unlike Raila, because Raila is a Luo, and you know the way Baba is everything in Luo Nyanza.
Yeah.
And they have three rules. Baba is always right, Baba is never wrong, and if rule number two fails to apply, refer to rule number one. And also, you know, in Luo Nyanza also, just by Baba, even me today, if Baba goes with me to Kisumu Central and carries
Mm.
my hand, I'm the next MP for Kisumu Central. If that is the person they worship and they
Uh,
could not turn out to that extent, what about
mm.
Ruto, who opposed Baba? I don't think they can turn out to that extent. For instance, even right now in Luo Nyanza, there are those
Mhm.
people who still believe that Kalonzo, they need to pay back to Kalonzo. So look at
Mhm.
that rift. So I don't think you can bargain with the Luo votes against Mount Kenya votes. Ruto should
Mhm.
reconsider Mount Kenya.
Yeah, yeah, but the same time you're saying that when you go and Baba carries your hand, you will be the MP of that Kisumu Central, and if you listen to there was a when Junet was in Guase, I don't know whether I think it is in Guase, he was comparing the merge the handshake that the Raila had with the Uhuru and the one now they are having, and they tend to he was saying like they did not see that benefit, but when you look at this one, they've been given more uh, than is expected. And you can remember also when before CS Mbadi being appointed or nominated as the member as a CS for Treasury, when Orengo disagreed with him, he even attacked Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and the the former president that that they've not delivered what was supposed to be as per their expectation. Now they feel like this one is one of the best because they've been considered and given good positions. Yeah. And this one will be the campaign tool, or you'll be a yardstick to measure how the votes will be given when time comes.
I'm sorry to say this. Junet Mohammed is an hypocrite because you know, Benson.
Hmm.
Personally, me, when Raila went into handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta,
Yeah.
I was following the politics of the country.
Yeah.
We benefited in both either handshake or broad-based government. The people in Nyanza benefited. Why am I saying so? There were some incomplete roads, more so in Kisumu. Previously, when you go to Kisumu, you visit Kisumu. So that Aero Road up to Hispania, it was
Yeah.
upgraded. Even up to Migori, it was extended. Those are the fruits of the handshake. There was a certain water project in Siaya. Uhuru went there and launched it. The current hospital which Ruto went to open at Nyabondo, the trauma center, it was
Hmm.
an handshake project. So
Hmm.
the difference is with broad-based government, Raila's people have been given CS slots.
Hmm.
But with handshake government, there was no CS slot, but there were development projects in Nyanza. Besides that, even there was a shipyard in Kisumu,
And
and
Kisumu.
the famous railways was scraped out, and they made it more of a marine for the military. So you see, even Raila Odinga, his campaign was sponsored by Uhuru Kenyatta, and they have confessed time that number that Uhuru Kenyatta gave them the money, and the people never paid the agents. So what is it that Uhuru Kenyatta did not give Raila that William Ruto is giving Raila? It's the same thing. The difference is that right now, Raila's people has been given CS slots, Unlike previously, there was no CS slots, but Raila Odinga benefited and his people. So United Mohammed is just being an hypocrite.
Yeah, so that is also something that is there. And now let's look at um, the divisions that are emerging, or the divisions that are there in UDA, especially the camp of the deputy president. And deputy president has been proud of his art of politics, of always uh, advocating for Mount Kenya. He doesn't shy away from that, and he's very confident. If you want to hate him because of that, by making him a tribal person, then so be it, because that is his art of politics. And there is also the that factions of Ichungwa, yeah, to an extent whereby the Ichungwa was attacking the DP uh, in Nyanza, and I think that one was to. I think it was a way of creating hatred for people to hate, or to people to not like the DP, which did not work. Yeah, it did not work. How will it also keep the merger if they are pulling apart? The DP want to have his people, and the president also want to have his people. And how will it make sure that that force um is combined together for it to work?
I like the politics of Rigiji, deputy
Yeah.
president, because Rigiji is of ambitious. And in politics, if you are not of ambitious, you have no business in politics. You should do other things. So
Yeah.
Rigiji has realized that William Ruto will have him for a breakfast come 2027. So he had no option but also to prepare his house.
Mhm.
Remember during the handshake, there were some members of Jubilee who lost their slots in National Assembly and in Senate. People like
Majority
Duale,
of them.
people like Eshongwa, people like Kithure Kindiki, they lost their slots, their leadership in those houses because of the handshake wave. So the broad-based government also has come with its own wave, and people like Rigiji has been sidelined. That's why you've seen people like Ishungwa emerging. But you never know. Ruto also was sidelined by the handshake government, but later Ruto formed government. William Ruto has forgotten. He's using the same tactic which Uhuru used against him. But the question is, will it work perfectly as William Ruto perfected over it? Uhuru Kenyatta tried it and it failed. Ricky G is also not taking anything to chance. He has decided also to put his house in order. That's why Ricky G is also going head on with William Ruto. That's why I've said, I like Ricky G's politics. You don't need to be a weakling in politics. And I will advise Ricky G, if you want to go forward, kindly don't concentrate on Mount Kenya because you need some people to help you fight this war. Go and look for friends outside Mount Kenya or sacrifice your 27 ambition for president. You can support Kalonzo, for instance, in that case. Or
Mhm.
if Raila lose AUC chairperson, he can decide to support Raila because Raila was Uhuru's favorite candidate in 2022. Nothing has changed because currently Rigijas is saying Uhuru is his brother, is looking for Uhuru. Why can't they match their mind with Uhuru Kenyatta and support Raila for once in 2027? So you have two choices to support
Mhm.
Raila, also to support Kalonzo, also to deal with the Ruto the same way William Ruto is planning to deal with him 2027. So I
But
advise Rigiji, kindly look for friends outside Mount Kenya. Don't concentrate on Mount Kenya.
but we also see that despite the fact that the even something I want to say, like even the former president, I'm told, is using his influence to advocate for Baba for AUC in the background, or in yeah, he doesn't want to come out publicly, but I hope, based on what I saw, whether I don't know whether it is true or not, but that is them. But y- you you talked of what happened when the current president was going through the same tactic. I mean, the tactic that Uhuru used during the handshake. But when you look at Kalonzo, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, Kalonzo is he's a good guy. He's a good person. Yeah, he has really, 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 really supported Baba fully, and actually, his people have always been delivering 100%. But if the AUC that you're talking about fails, I think like President Ruto will be a fallback for Raila. That is where he can get a landing spot, soft landing. So how can he have the Rigiji again to support him?
You know, me in politics, I put everything. It is possible. In politics,
Yeah.
there is possibility.
Mhm.
There's nothing impossible.
Mhm.
What if Raila lose AUC chairperson
Yeah.
and Ouru also can decide that I want to prove to the people that I never conned Baba. I want to
Mhm.
prove to the people that I mean well for Baba.
Mhm.
Then he persuade Rigiji because Rigiji already has demonstrated that he can control a huge percent of the Mount Kenya votes. Because
Yeah.
with him, with Ruto decided to beat Raila in Mount Kenya. What if Uhuru Kenyatta make an agreement with Rigiji and they support Baba for the last push?
Mhm.
They can decide even to do away with Ruto. It is possible because there have been cries in Mount Kenya that William Ruto is not faring on with them, faring on with them. In fact, they are crying about their businesses, their properties. So they can play that politics. That's what I was trying to view in that direction. That what if Uhuru Kenyatta is still in
Mhm.
the game and
Yeah.
they decided with Rigiji they form a coalition against William Ruto to pull him out? Because during the Gen Z demonstration,
Mhm.
Raila said that what next if Ruto goes? Maybe they don't want it to Ruto to go. They don't want it to be Ruto to go through revolution. They want us to maintain our democracy. Why can't they wait for 2027? Then they form an alliance, a broad-based alliance. We can send him out of the office. So that is
Yeah.
possible. That's why I was putting my possibility.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't mean that one can work. It depends on the how they form their formations.
If depends on their formation, and you know, uh, maybe our last bit that I know, you know, when you look at the history of this government that we have before broad-based government, yeah, it was formed on the basis of prayers. That it said that even the election was won, si uchawi ni maombi, and that was the slogan. And we have our religious leaders that always would advocate for good governance and would advocate and point out the things that are not working. But ever since we had the Gen Z protest, um, I've not seen majority of the churches asking for accountability, especially for those who lost their life. That is one. Apart from the South Rift, I think it was the South Rift of, leaders of church leaders who are saying they embrace the broad-based government. Has religious leaders not played their part well, or what is happening?
Religious leader has failed us terribly as a nation
Mm.
because the religious leaders are the people who have been giving these politicians platforms.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, they give them platforms so that they can do their politics in the pulpit. So they have taken advantage and they have seen that it is through these religious leaders. Because in church, there are many congregation, there are
Mm.
many people worshiping there. And these people, some of them tend to believe their leader. So a leader can give an instruction that because I'm your guest, my my followers can vote for you because
Yeah.
you are always in my church. So
Mhm.
these leaders have given us a very wrong direction. And you have also pointed out that after the protest, many things happened. People lost their lives, properties were destroyed, many were injured, many are still nursing their wounds to date. They
Yeah.
have not uttered any word about compensation. They have not uttered any word about how can justice be done to these people? They are quiet. They have invited politicians again into their church. Politicians are on with their game. So I don't understand why these politicians, they welcome them into their church. I don't understand.
Mhm.
So our religious leaders should also be responsible. They should not allow politics in church because these people have found church as a platform for politicking.
Yeah.
And the government of UDA was formed on the base of si uchawi ni maombi. So
Yeah.
we ask ourselves, who was uchawi and who was maombi?
Mm.
William Ruto mastered that the people from Mount Kenya, they love God, the Kikuyus, and they go to church, most of them on Sunday. So he went there with the Bible so that he can resonate very well with the locals.
Yeah.
That okay, this man of God who is carrying Bible, and even the people from Mount Kenya, the leaders, were advocating for the people that huyu rais ni wa kuomba Mungu, huyu anajua Mungu na yule mchawi. So you see where there was the dimensions. So the
Mm.
people believe in him that he even purport to be pastor. Sometimes he used to quote fake verses in the Bible, and people used to verify later that, and they found that it was fake. And
Mhm.
he tried to resonate the people of Mount Kenya so well, carrying the Bible. Sometimes when he comes to Nyanza, why is it that when he's coming to Nyanza, he's not carrying Bible? And remember, even after the 4-day tour in Nyanza, on Sunday, he went to Bongoma. Why could he even worship in Kisumu or in Migori or in Siaya? Why is it that he went to Bongoma? Because he knows very well that if you carry the Bible, you resonate so well with these particular people. But when it comes to Nyanza, he knows very well that just call Raila Baba, they will embrace you. In all his crowds, was addressing Raila as Baba. He went further to Kondele people and said to them that I will accuse you people to Baba. Then he forgot, okay, God is supreme to Baba. They say, okay, not only Baba, but also God. It means
Mhm.
he understand the local people that if you want to
Mhm.
capture the attention of this audience, use
Yeah.
Baba. If you want to
Mhm.
capture the attention of these Mount Kenya people, use Bible and attack Raila. So Bible was a tool for campaign 2022 to put him to state house, and he perfectly succeeded about it.
Thank you so much for that. And I said, hey, Mr. Gitonga, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I'm very, very much okay. And uh, Gitonga is saying very true what Miguda has said, and that that makes us to ask ourselves as even the churchgoers and even the leaders of our church, because back in the days, there were members of the church that was not very easily, you cannot compromise them easily. We have people like Timothy Njoia that have rich history of this beloved country, Kenya. They've paid a price. You know, some of the freedom that we enjoy, especially in this country, um, people like Timothy Njoia paid a price for it. If you look at him, there was a time he was thoroughly beaten by the police. I think it was along the Parliament road, you know. But if you compare the the the, the likes of Timothy Njoya with the church leaders that we have today, because sometimes you find a politician comes to the pulpit, yeah, and he's saying something that is not true, but they still clap and laugh. You know, sometimes they get the monies. You don't know where that money, or where did the money come from, you know, and you get in the pretext, or in the way that, okay, we want to build the church, but they don't point out the evils of the society, the things that are not right. You take sides. So where are we headed as religious? And something that also is missing about the government that we have today with the previous government of administration, we're not seeing so much of our Muslim brothers being involved in the governance. Like most of the state house visits, it's very rare. not as compared to how Uhuru Kenyatta used to. What is happening? Does it mean that we 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 don't recognize them?
Um, in our constitution,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well, brother.
Okay, I'm saying in our constitution, there's a provision that
Yeah.
Kenya being a republic
Yeah.
and Kenya being a multi-party democracy, also there shall be no state religion. So
Yeah.
we don't have a state religion in our country. So every religion is acceptable, provided it doesn't contravene the Bill of Rights and also it doesn't contravene Article 2.4. So uh, not only Somalis or the so-called Islams, even
Mm-hmm.
SDS,
Mm-hmm.
SDS does not tolerate politicians. In fact, if you are a politician and you have come to worship in SDA, you will sit until the first service is over and they will not give you opportunity to speak. There was a
Mm-hmm.
time Governor Obado was campaigning in South Nyanza. He went to
Mm-hmm.
speak into church. The pastor put him until the sermon was over. Then he was not given a mic. Then he left very annoyed. So there should be doctrines of church, the fundamental beliefs of your church. As a church, you should have a fundamental beliefs and the doctrines. They should guide you. You should not be persuaded by these politicians so that you can please them. Because this how religion has been crafted into our mind that we believe that it is through religion that can solve all our problems. So some people don't even work hard. They're just lazy because they worship. They go to church to worship. Yes, we should worship and God is supreme. We agree.
Yeah.
But some of our problems cannot be solved through religion. Some
Mm-hmm.
of our problems can be solved through hard work. Some of our problems can be solved through speaking the truth. Some of our problems can be solved through criticizing the defunct government. Therefore, William Ruto, a mastery of lies, he noticed that in Mount Kenya, why is it that they're taking prayers to Mount Kenya? They're taking prayers to Mount Kenya Bible. In Nyanza, they're bringing developments. So you can see there is a total difference perspective of the people. You first have to identify which type of people am I dealing with. The Luo
Mm-hmm.
people who are resilient in nature. So if you go there with development and sing all about Baba, they will welcome you. The Mount
Mm-hmm.
Kenya people who are also resilient business people, they
Mm-hmm.
believe that it is God who provide. Of course, God provide to all of us. So if you can bring prayers to them and there's no development, they will incorporate you into their political affairs. And this is why I was telling you that these are just political games.
Yeah.
Remember, uh, Mythical Inturi, when the cabinet was dissolved and he was never reappointed, he
Yeah.
has now realigned himself with Rigiji. People like
Mm-hmm.
Raiti Murungi, who are opposing the UDA, they have realized that now Azimio has split, they have realized themselves with Rigiji. So you ask your question, Mythical Inturi and Raiti Murungi, what is their interest to work with Rigiji? They want to become the next governor of Meru in 2022
Mm-hmm.
elections. So these are just pure politics. And that's why I've said I like the Rigiji's tactics. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
to sit back and watch. Fight within.
Okay, thank you so much. Marco Bura, habari gani?
Kwa mzima nashukuru.
Naona unajivinjari baba.
Bado tunapambana mdogo mdogo.
Asante sana kaka. Leo hii tulikuwa tunazungumza tu kuhusu mambo ambayo kinaendelea. Tulikuwa tunajaribu kuangazia tu. We were just looking at the murky waters politics that we have, and we are looking at the ODM merger and the UDA because it's something that is there, even though it is it is in the public domain, but it is not formalized. Like remember we had national accord that the the grand coalition. Like the working of the two principles was made to law. So it was something that was law abiding as compared to the handshake and the one that we have today. But from the look of things, there's the merger that is coming, and quotas believe that this is going to be one of the biggest coalition that we've never had, and it reminds us of Pentagon, um, you know, and how are the people like Babu Owin or the Sifunas of this world, who nowadays we don't see them coming on TV. Ledama Olekina, who also was in the Citizen yesterday, and he said that there are so many things that he would want to say. How are they going to navigate? And will it stand test of time? That is what we are looking for.
I think there's still time.
Yeah.
And we can't really say that there's a particular way that things are going to be done. But so far from where I sit and what I'm seeing, there's still a lot of time. 2027 is still far, and there's still room for disagreement, there's still room for agreement.
Yeah.
So I think those people have not really settled, the likes of Sifuna and Babu. They're simply trying to get the bearing so that they don't make a fast move before getting to understand what the people want. So I think as a clever leader, they're simply taking time to ensure that they fully understand what is on the ground and what is happening before they make a move. But again, we can't really say that the relationship that we are seeing between these two top political leaders is going to stand for long because there is a possibility of serious disagreement within these two parties.
Yeah.
You're going to see it. Remember, there's no goodwill in the running of the government currently. There are so many people against what is happening in the government. So, should they fail or should they have something that is really not going to work for them? Because there's going to be serious disagreement along the way.
Okay.
So you can't really say that it will hold, that it will exist for quite some time. But there is a possibility of serious disagreement within the people who are already talking in one tone.
Because
so what will really matter here is service to the people, and the people will have to say a lot. If these people manage to lower the lives, to lower the prices of everything and these other things, then there's a possibility of them proceeding in that relationship. But should they fail to understand the people, of course they will not stick together.
But you know what sometimes make us ask some questions, because remember, prior to the broad-based government, we used to have very articulate personalities, especially from ODM, who would go to the TV, will be invited to the TV, and they will mop out issues, especially when it comes to commenting on the current issues. We had people like Senator Sifuna of Nairobi. We had legislator Otienda Molo from Rarieda. These were the personalities that were there to defend Azimio, and talk about what government is doing wrong.
I think what has really happened is, whatever they used to do, there's not, like, saizi hawana kazi. Kazi yao ilikuwa kuenda kwa hizi station to talk as the leaders of the opposition. So currently they're not really they hawana kazi, so you can't really expect them to be going to these television stations
to kuongea. Na si unaweza kuja uongee, kwa sababu sasa tumebuni serikali ambayo iko imeweka watu pamoja. Kuja utuongelezee utuambie mazuri ya serikali ya pamoja, ama Miguda hiyo haiwezi fanyika.
Nafikiria hata yule mtu mwerevu kuliko watu wote duniani alikuwa anaitwa Mfalme Solomon said in the Ecclesiastes that there's a time and a season for everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time for criticize the government. There's time to keep quiet. So I think these people are just timing their political future. So that should be my answer.
Okay, so they want to be very, very cautious with what they say at this particular moment in time because we have a government. Maybe they're not understanding the structure of government or how the government may be not working. Maybe how
They
government
don't
is
want to
working.
make mistakes. They don't make mistakes. They want to be very accurate because they are still young. They don't want to make mistakes of the people who have made mistake before. So they want to be very accurate and very
Uh,
sure of their moves.
yeah, on their moves, and people are also asking, what can be when we look at hypothesis. We are just thinking, what is the best road for um, Kalonzo right now, the chief opposition leader, to ride to victory in 2027? Is there a path for him?
There is a path.
Hmm.
There's two paths for Kalonzo.
Yeah.
Kalonzo can decide to remain loyal to Baba
Hmm.
and work with the formation going in 2027, or Kalonzo can be supported by Deputy President Rigiriji to win 2027 elections. So Kalonzo, yes, he still have chances. So it depends on how he play his cards.
Okay, that's good. Makobura, you kind of like came late. We were supposed to end in the next few minutes. We talked about the religious leaders that we have. When you look at how the religious leaders have carried themselves, especially after during the maandamano of the Gen Z and post maandamano, what is your take on how they've carried out themselves?
You know, from my understanding, the religious leaders, more of their work is supporting people spiritually.
Hmm.
And whenever people are spiritually stable,
Yeah,
they're able to make some good decisions in life.
yeah,
So when we have a problem where people are not spiritually awake,
yeah,
when people are not spiritually awake, then
yeah.
it becomes tough for them to understand how things operate. But
Mm,
again, when a country has spiritual leaders who are up, like who are there to help the citizens, you'll
mm,
find that the citizen will not be getting into activities which are not right.
yeah,
So what we've seen lately is that if you remember the time of Moi, maybe the time of Kibaki, the spiritual leaders are the ones who would stand with the people, they would speak on behalf of the people, they would tell the government in power that if they are doing wrong, they would boldly come out and remind the people in power that what they're doing is not right.
damn.
They would defend the rights of the people. But of late, this time round, we saw a group that was not really supportive, that was not really fighting for the rights of the people. Remember, life, right to life is a serious thing,
Yeah,
and life is a gift that is only given by God. So it's one thing that should be protected by everyone. In a situation where leaders are not concerned about protecting lives, it is the religious leaders who should remind them, because Christianity teaches us that life is a sacred thing and we have to respect, we have to ensure that we protect it. But
mm,
if the religious leaders are on the same side with the politicians, of course, even the rights of the people will not be respected. And
okay.
it is true that they've not done the right thing as per what actually Christianity teaches. And we have to stand, like we have a right to remind them to be steadfast
Hmm.
to their call. Being a religious leader is a call not just for everyone, it's a call that is given to the few. So they
Yeah,
have to stand up with the people, protect the lives of the people. It is so wrong that this time now they did not care. And it is our right as a citizen to remind them, because again, the Bible says that remind them even if they know. Remind them if they're doing wrong, if they're doing right, so that they do what is right. So
Okay.
it is true they did not do what was right, but it is our right again as citizens to remind them to be uh, responsible to their call and to ensure that they remind the government to stand firm because they have a long following. Remember, Christianity in Kenya amounts to most the citizens of the Republic of Kenya, majority of them are Christians.
Yeah.
So these religious leaders have a higher responsibility to convince their followers to do what is right. Uh, so from what we were saying last time, the president had bagged them in one bag and was now controlling them. We've seen a religious group that is now not really following their calling, but they are
Mm.
following instructions given by leaders. And this is where we are messing. But it's good they've accepted that they did what was wrong. We are just reminding them to come back and work with the people, respect the will of God by ensuring they protect life that has been given by God. And also, they should not get involved with corruption. They should remind the government in power and people in power that looting or making others suffer is not what is right.
Okay. Okay, my brothers, thank you so much for coming. Though my good Obura came not early enough so that we can continue with the conversation. Tomorrow we'll be having a leader from Kisumu County, and we will be discussing about about the visit and the projects that has been launched in the county and what are we looking for right now. And for those who are supporting us in the comment section and the viewers, thank you so much. So tomorrow, don't miss out. We will be having Honorable Adede Sheshe. Adede Sheshe is coming from Kaloleni Shaurimoyo Ward. If you remember the project that was launched in Limumba for 5.6 billion housing project is in his ward. So we will be here discussing with him and we will see how he is going to make sure that the people who are living in the houses prior, who are told to leave, the vacate the houses that were there, what is the compensation criteria or how are they going to get the houses? Makobura and Miguda, always thank you so much for being in the show. We will meet tomorrow after the show, actually after hosting the MCA, then we will also have a show to discuss or to analyze what he has told us, whether it is true or not. Thank you so much, and may God bless you to our viewers. Also, thank you so much. God bless you. See you tomorrow next time.